Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Gulfstream Park on Saturday kicks off a 50-cent pick five. It's race number 8 going 6.5 furlongs, and it's the grade 3 Hurricane Bertie for fillies and mares. Let's take a look at this field. And Mike, I know you start salivating when you see Frank's Rockette's name in the entries because despite her qualifications, you're always happy to try to beat her with a better price solution.
Yeah, usually in races where the competition might be a little tougher than this, Dan. I mean, it's pretty clear from looking at the PPs of this race anyway that she's a little bit of a standout in this race. Frank's Rockette is 6 times we saw her last year, 4 triple-digit buyers. Nobody else in this field has even buyered out of the 80s, Dan. I mean, she's pretty much a standout in here.
We'll throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector, and while she's had a really nice career, you could make the argument that she can be had when she doesn't get things exactly her own way. And last time out, she made the lead and controlled the pace. Here she's going to be chasing some upwardly mobile, quick horses. Drifaros and our Adios Jersey, they're kind of blazers out there, and Frank's Rockette might be relegated to a stalking position this time.
Yeah, I can see this pace getting pretty fast. Listen, we'll see how much that, helps some of the other horses in here and maybe hurts Frank's Rockette. I mean, she's not really a horse who needs to be on the lead to be effective. But if she does wind up chasing in here, it could work against her.
Our first 2 entrants are horses that benefited from fast paces in their last race and might get the similar setup here. Let's start things off with the number 1 Diamond Wow, a stakes winner at Gulfstream Park in 2021, coming off this high-level allowance win at this 6.5 furlong distance. You see Diamond Wow, she is second from the left. She got a good pace. She rolls them down late.
Yeah, good trip in this race. Always looked comfortable from off the pace. And once they got her into the clear, she wins pretty easily, just drives away from this field. I thought it was a step in the right direction, Dan. I still feel like she's got some potential to move forward at some point. She was good at 2, had some trouble staying on the track last year, and she's finally feels like she's in racing form right now. The big problem for her, I feel like, is the race 2 back when they bumped her up into the inside information, and she just really didn't do any running.
The number 2 is Colorful Mischief, who's run quite well in her last 2 starts, finishing second to Mary Quite Contrary. It looks like she's on her way to a race like the Grade 1 Madison at Keeneland. Let's watch Colorful Mischief's most recent start, the inside information at 7/8 of a mile. She finishes ahead of 3 of the rivals she'll be facing on Saturday. She did get a fast pace to attack, Mike, but I kind of thought the outside was the place to be at Gulfstream this day, and she was down on the rail and still punching home late.
I thought she ran pretty well in this race. The setup was there for her. She's not as good as the winner, but I do like the way that she finishes up in this race along the inside. I also felt like she ran well 2 starts back down, a race where she got into a little bit of trouble there with Irad sort of staying on the rail the entire way when he had a chance to get out. So it worked against her. I don't know. She's got to improve to win this race, but I think she can do it. I thought she was underrated as a 3-year-old.
Fire on Time just ran 3rd in the video we showed you, but I think she ran somewhat close as well as Colorful Mischief, considering the pace scenario. It just did look like those fractions were fast. They were contested. She won the duel and opened up the lead in the stretch, but was very weary late. She's going to go to the front. Maybe she'll go a little bit slower this time. Heck, she's won 5 and 9.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to knock her because overall her form's pretty good. It just feels like, last time she sort of got hooked up on the pace in that race, Dan, and it feels like she could be in for more of the same here. I feel like there's, if nothing else, there's more speed in this race than there was in that last one. She ran pretty well last time, though, all things considered.
I've always liked Frank's Rockette a little bit more than you, and she just found the right spot last time out in the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl. She usually seems to show up at Gulfstream Park for the Great Bill Mott. In this race, there wasn't really much to say. She went to the front. She had to be used a little bit, but she got a breather on the backstretch, and she's just simply too good for these. She's run 4 triple-digit buyer speed figures out of her last 5 starts. The other was the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. As you mentioned, on paper, she's a standout, but we've seen her lose at short prices in the past.
We have. It's just a great spot for her. I don't really want to knock her too hard. She's tons the horse to beat in this race. Somebody has to improve and probably has to improve a lot if they're going to beat her, Dan. But it's just another great spot that Mott has found for her. He found a great spot for her last time. Maybe this race is a little bit tougher, but it feels like she has, some speed to spare.
I really love the way how Terry Pompey has handled the number 5 Drifaros. This is a lightly raced daughter of Cantharos, obviously has a good deal of ability, and Pompey has just let her go through her conditions gradually. Here's her last start. This is her stakes debut, the Minaret, and she went to the front. She took pace pressure. It looks like they're all about to swarm her at the 3/16 pole, and she's actually getting away from them late. She's a little bit slow on paper, but she's also very lightly raced.
Yeah, she is. We'll see. I mean, it feels like this pace just has to be, yeah, maybe the toughest one that she's been confronted with so far. I mean, even though in this race that we're watching, then she did move up the inside early and was, I guess you would say she was kind of contesting the pace, but the horse that was up there with her was, I don't know, 1,000,000 to 1. And it just didn't really seem like this filly was working that hard to hold a short lead. I did like the way she finished it off. I think she could improve again, but I also feel like this pace is going to be a lot faster.
Ariana's jersey is going to be part of that fast pace. She was part of it last time out in the inside information. She tired to finish 4th, where Colorful Mischief was 2nd coming from off of it. I think this little bit of a turn back isn't bad for her. She's going to show speed. And I guess if you want to make a case, perhaps she's the speed of the speed fine. I just don't think the 2 is going to let her get away with anything easy up front.
I didn't think so either. I mean, she's just going to have to find a way to finally, take that step forward, which she didn't really do as a 4-year-old last year, Dan. I mean, she was good as a 3-year-old last year. It didn't feel like she got better at all. As a matter of fact, it seemed like she was worse, and she didn't run that well in the inside information as part of the pace with Fire on Time.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the feature at Gulfstream on Saturday. The Hurricane Bertie. Mike's going with Colorful Mischief. In good form, going to be running late, might get the right setup, and it'll be a better price than Frank's Rockette, that's for sure.
Just want to give her one chance. I'll admit I've been chasing her a little bit. I want to give her one more chance in here, just because I feel like maybe this is finally the right spot for her. She's going to be a price once again because Frank's Rockette just has to take all the money.
Not sure I really want to play this race. Frank's Rockette's going to be too short for my blood, but it looks like Mott's just found another good spot. And if she runs her usual buyer speed figure, she's going to be very, very tough to beat. 2-4-1-5 for Mike, 4-2-3-5 for me. It's the grade 3 Hurricane Bertie, and we're kicking off a 50-cent pick 5 at Gulfstream. Best of luck.